While I'm playing this game, I want you to pay very special attention to the webcam. How does it look? Because it's a brand new webcam that I just got from Obsbot. So you're looking right now at the oh no, I should pay it. Where am I? So we're looking at two different cameras. We've got the Tiny SE, which is what you're looking at right now. And then if I switch over to the other camera, now you're looking at the Meet SE. Now the SE, in my opinion, should stand for sweet spot. It's right in the nice sweet spot for people who are streaming. Now, when you're playing a game and your camera's down in the corner, in my opinion, you really don't need 4K. So if you're a streamer and you want to get something that's going to have tons of features and some really good picture quality, plus a software suite that's to die for. It's just decadent. I'm going to talk about the software suite in just a minute, but let me show you something right here. This is the Microsoft Store. That's the retail price. And now let's head over to whokeys.com. You can get Windows 11 Pro, but we have a little bit of a deal right here. See, there's like a 20% off. No. Let's not do that. Let's get 25% off Windows 11 Pro. Once you get over here, we got a coupon code down here. Just type in TS25. Take a look at the price. $30.96. Let's hit apply. And now $23.22. That's the price I want to pay. You can also get the same deal on Windows 10 Pro, and at the time of making this video, Windows 10 Pro keys unlock Windows 11. Let's see what that comes down to. $17.61. You got Windows 10 Home, we got Windows 11 Home, and we also have a few different flavors of Office, like 2019 and 2016. If you're looking at like Office 365, it's one of those monthly never-ending things. $129 a year versus $99 a year. When you grab Office 2019 this way for only $53.56, it just activates and works, and there's no monthly fee. Let's go ahead and check out with our copy of Windows 11 Pro. Going to use TS25 here, and I'm going to submit my order. 269, there we go. Sweet. Yeah, sure, we'll save that. So after you make your purchase, just go ahead and extract your key. Go ahead and click on View Keys and Codes for the new one. All right, here we just need to press Start and then type Activate. You'll see activation settings. Go ahead and click on that. And then right here it says Not Active. That's okay. Just click on Change Product Key. Paste in our product key, press Next, and then click on Activate. Hey, look at that. Active. Don't be messing around with those exorbitant retail keys. Grab an OEM key. Head over to whokeys.com. Thanks to them for sponsoring. And now on to our regularly scheduled program. Now I moved from a big SLR camera. If you don't know what nothing is about cameras, well, a big SLR, that just means a big camera with a big old honking lens on the front. And I used to have it right there, but now I've been able to take that down and use it for other things. You know, for me, this is all I need in my opinion. And I'm in a very darkly lit room, and both of these cameras have something that's very interesting, and that's dual native ISO. What does that mean for people who don't understand? Well, ISO is the amount of gain that is applied to make the image look okay in different lighting situations. Now, most cameras have a native ISO that the sensor is tuned to. So, like with these cameras, they have two native ISOs, meaning that there are two different gain levels that the cameras are tuned to work really well at. And that means daytime or nighttime, we have two different ISO settings that are both quote-unquote native. So the sensor is going to look good in the dark and also, during the daytime. Now my setup, I keep it really dark because, whenever I'm streaming or doing videos, I actually don't want light hitting me in the eyes. It makes me blind after a while. Then when I'm done, I can't do anything else because I get headaches and everything else. I've just got two Elgato lights and I'm pointing them at a kind of an off-white wall, and it's on the lowest setting and they're bouncing off the wall. So I don't even have direct lights pointing on me. Otherwise, there's just some lights in the background and stuff to make it have a nice little glow or whatever, but that's pretty much all I've got going on. Let me just turn this a little bit so you can see all the nice glow and everything over there. There, look at that. Even turn the camera down because I like a dark look. I've got it to, negative 0.3 with the exposure. Another thing that helps give you decent quality in darker environments, especially for gamers and stuff, is the pixels. They're large. Large pixel size will allow you to soak up more light. So that's another thing that they've got going on top of the software and on top of the dual native ISO. Let's go through how these cameras look on the outside, and then we'll talk about what's on the inside. And then in part 3, we'll look at the software. So let's jump into it. So right now I'm on the Meet. Let's go ahead and check out the Tiny. There's the Tiny. A little bit different lighting setup there, and I need to move it over, but we can easily do that. Just, hey, move on over a little bit. There we go. And the main difference between the two, in my opinion, is that the Tiny is on a swivel, so it can turn and follow you around if you need to like move around the room or whatever. You know, easy to use when it comes to that. And I've made myself too dark. I keep messing around with this thing. All right, so I'm just gonna chill down here just so you can see how the webcam looks pretty much all the time. But let's just go over here and take a look at the Tiny SE. So I guess I should be using the Tiny SE while I'm doing this, right? We have 3 different Tinys. We have lots of different Tinys now. The Tiny 2 is going to be the big one, and that's the other one that I use for most of my videos because I feel like it's a professional one. But this one's a little bit smaller, and the mount is built into the bottom. The other one has the separate mount that you can use, but this one's nice because it's just built in. It attaches to your monitor just like a standard webcam. There you can see the size. Now, the difference in these 3. Okay, it's always really confusing. This is an old metric. I wish they would just tell us the surface area. I'll give you the measurements right now. The sensor on the Tiny 2 is 9.6 millimeters by 7.2 millimeters, giving us a surface area of 69.1 millimeters. Now let's take a look at this one right here, the one that we have, the one you're looking at. The sensor on this one is 5.4 millimeters by 4 millimeters, giving us a surface area of 21.6 millimeters. So you can see it does have a much smaller sensor. And I think that might matter when you're talking about like, you know, the quality you're going to get when it comes to like full screen. But their software can help a lot, and also the dual native ISO does help to make the image, I guess, a little bit less grainy. So the Tiny 2, it does 4K 30. This one does 1080p up to 100 FPS. I've just got it set at 60 right now. 4x digital zoom. It's zoomed in at like 1.5 right now. If you zoom it out all the way, it'll be a little bit too small, I think. There you can see your FOV is 78. And then we have autofocus and manual focus. The Tiny 2 has all pixel. So I guess if you're moving around a lot, that could, be a little bit beneficial. But let me just show you how fast the autofocus is on this one. Let's see. Focus here, and then focus on me. That's pretty fast in my opinion. Now the other one having the all pixel autofocus can make it a little bit faster and a little bit more accurate, but I think for most people, the SE is going to be just fine. And then as far as your HDR goes, so PixGrain HDR, in my opinion, is a little bit faster if you're doing something that requires a lot of processing power. Like while I was playing a game, I was using my staggered HDR, and at some points I noticed it was a little bit stuttery because what that does is it takes essentially 2 images, HDR and regular, and kind of blends them together. So it does require a little bit more processing power from my experience. The PixGain is a different technology. They both work well, but this is a thing where like, what do you really need and what are you really doing? So yeah. And then this one is USB 2.0, which is completely fine for what we're doing right here. If we're not doing 4K and anything crazy, you don't need USB 3. USB 2.0 is great for that. And I like the fact that we don't have to take up a USB 3 port, so USB 2 it is. I'll talk about the audio on both of them at the same time. Now let's move over and take a look at the Meet SE. All right, let's take a look at the Meet SE, because I've already looked at the Meet 2. Very similar when it comes to the different CMOSs. We have a little, this one's actually smaller, even though it's your brain's gonna tell you it's bigger, but no, this CMOS is bigger, quite a bit bigger than this one. So we have a smaller image sensor in there, but again, we're using all the same software and everything. This one, 1080p. The Meet 2 is 4K, so if you're doing presentations, maybe that's good, but if you're just streaming, 1080p is completely fine. And then we have just regular autofocus and regular manual focus. Let's go ahead and make sure that we're on the Meet. There we go. Now we're on the Meet, so I can show you. The Meet 2 has really fancy phase detection, so if you're moving around a whole lot, that's nice, but let me just show you how fast the autofocus is right here on the Meet 2. And then focus on me. It's trying to do face detect, that's what's going on. Plus I got my stupid blur going, but let's see. Okay, so that's about how fast it's going to be focusing right there with the Meet 2. All right, let's do audio tests for both of these. And now looking at the body on the Meet 2, this is tiny. It's almost cute. It comes in a few different colors. It uses a magnetic base mount, but it also has a screw on the bottom so you can mount. Both of these things have screws on, screw mounts on the bottom so you can mount them onto a tripod or a little desk mount or anything like that. But the Meet 2 has a cool magnetic stand because it's so small. All you need is like just the magnet, and then you can kind of reach up and adjust it. As long as it's sitting there on the magnet, it's fine. It's really easy to mess with, and it has a stand that you can use or not use. It's up to you, whatever you want to do in your own little world. The size without the mount is 45 by 36 by 22.2 millimeters, which is 1.78 by 1.4 by 0.87 inches. It's tiny, and it's, like I said, cute. It's hard for me to say the nice things, but it's hard for me to say the word cute, can you tell? It comes in like a green color, gray, and also white. I'm sure they have cool names for all of those. Now, I don't have any humans here to interact with, but there's a number of different things that you can do with the software. You know, you can have it follow you and all that. This is probably one of their ones on a swivel that's following them around. But, you know, it can do things like that. If you have it in group mode and someone else walks into the frame, it can zoom out a little bit to make sure that everyone's there. So I'll show you a few things that we can do here with the software. All right, these also both have 12-bit color, which is better than most monitors could even do. So, all right, let's take a look at the software because that's a big deal in my opinion. All right, here we go. I've got all kinds of stuff open in the background. Before we even get into the software, if you're worried about using the Stream Deck, well, take a look at this. I have controls right here for the Tiny. So check this out. Say you want to make like a statement or whatever. Well, you can zoom in to say something and then zoom back out to normal. And you can set up this all right here in your Elgato if you're using Stream Deck, but that's not what I want to focus on. I want to focus on their software. So right here's all the devices, and you can have up to 4 connected. So you can put them in different places, have them on your desk or whatever. And then we can set up global hotkeys so that you can just come over here. And right now I've got Control-Shift-1 and Control-Shift-2 set up to change my cameras. So how you doing? Oh, different camera now. So you can swap back and forth and put them in different spots on your desk. It's really handy if you were doing like a, I don't know, something where you're using your hands. If you want to show your mouse and keyboard, if you want knitting or cooking or whatever, you can have them in all different spots. So that's pretty cool. Next up, we got our output modes, and I'm doing 1080p 30. It'll do 60, it'll do 100, depending on the device that you're using. And then I'm using software encoding, but I can switch over to hardware. It should be just fine. And then bitrate here for this, yes, high bitrate. I have a gazillion core computer. So there we go. And there's my global hotkeys. You can even have it set up to do gimbal moves and everything. So all kinds of stuff. Now, if you have a bunch of these set up with UDP or TCP servers and you're doing them over the IP addresses and stuff, you can also mess with that here. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And I've got it in pro mode, of course, because I'm professional. All right, so here's what you're greeted with when you first open it up. And it looks like there's a lot of stuff, but we'll go through every bit of it, all right? Let's change cameras for fun. There we go. Isn't that fun? I'm closer in this one anyway. So, all right, here on the first page on console, we can do auto framing, turn that on, and say single close-up right there. Or let's do upper body. Where am I? I'm over here. How about now? So there we go. It's just follow me around my upper body. Wherever my upper body is, that camera is. So that's kind of cool. If you want to like tune it up yourself, you can do that just by coming over here and turning off auto framing and then just tune it up. There we go. So tune it up right there. Excellent. Excellent. And then over here with the Tiny SE, we can tune it up and do some presets and stuff. So let's just say I want it over here. Nope, up a little bit. Up, there we go. And then we can come over here and add a preset and just say like, okay, there we go, preset 1. So I can go to preset 2 and then preset 1. It'll move back over. Let's say I want preset 2 to be like way over yonder. Let's set it up first. Preset 2 is going to be on the Lego. Click on that and I'll just do update preset 1. Talking to you, it's about something serious, and it's me telling you should look at my Lego stuff, and back to me. There we go. So yeah, let's do that full screen. So I can just go to my presets and then like be like, hey, check out that Lego stuff over there. It's set to face detect, but whatever. I don't have time to change it. All right, let's go back in and take a look at all the different image options that we have here. HDR on and off. So HDR, it's going to be weird. With it turned off, I feel like it looks okay. I actually kind of like the way this looks because I listen to black metal. I like things to look raw and weird. But it does look more like, turn the HDR back on. Oh, it's too bright. Arguably has better color, but I'm also using some presets. So just keep on going through here. We got global focus and face focus. You can turn that on and off. If you put it on global, then it's going to be quicker to focus on other things. You know, like focus on that, would you? I said that. Where are you? All that. There we go. So that's not too bad. Pretty quick. All right, back in here. And right now I'm using auto exposure, but you can turn that off if you want to do it yourself, you know. If you know what you're doing. And turn the ISO up to 700. Cool, looks pretty good. But I kind of like to leave it on auto, but it's completely up to you. The reason I like to leave it on auto is because if I leave it on auto, I can set the compensation to whatever. I like -0.7 to keep it dark. But then if I open up a super bright screen over here, like, I don't know, what's a bright screen? Like this, I've just opened up a super bright thing right here, you know? And that'll help a little bit. It's not going to be perfect, but, you know, it'll do what it can. And I'm going to leave my white balance on auto. Click on more and we'll show you some more stuff. So we can sleep these devices, and you can also set up a background for whenever things are sleeping. So I can go in here and be like, there we go, this background, okay. It's a very soft background to be on there whenever it's sleeping. And then if I go up here and just tell it to sleep, and you can sleep all cameras, sleep all devices, it's going to do this. Check it out. Sleep. There. That'll be there in the background. You can put whatever you want. If you want something more vibrant, like, I'll be back in a second. Then when you resume, it'll go away. Refocus. It's got to redo all the gain and everything, or the auto, whatever. So yeah, it works just fine. And then you can set an automatic sleep time. When it sleeps, it also cuts off the microphone, so that's really handy to make sure nothing's listening, no one's snooping around. So there we go, and there's our zoom factor. Now, we can do some fun stuff here. Let me just turn all this stuff on, and it's going to be easier just to show you. So first off, zoom. I zoomed in too much now. I can zoom back out. There we go. Now I can also go in and do dynamic zoom by like pulling in and then back out. Cool. You can also have it target your hands or whatever. Locked targeting. So next up, let's go ahead and take a look at the beauty settings here. I'm using the advanced blur, which sadly requires an NVIDIA GPU. So yeah, and then we can turn up that advanced blur like, which I think looks weird. But the reason that I like the advanced blur is because it does, give you a more professional look with the blurred background and everything. The native is a little bit lower. So there's the native blur, as you can see, that's, on 1. But the thing is about if you turn up the native blur a little bit, it can look okay, but look what it does. See, like, this is how the native blur looks, when you turn it up a little bit. So maybe that's okay for some people, but the advanced blur, I feel like at 1 looks better to me. Yeah, where I am, maybe 2, I don't know, depending on the device. With the smaller sensors, you need to put it a little bit higher with the background blur. But yeah, it's still not, it's still not the same as like using a big camera, but I feel like for streaming, this is going to be just fine. So yeah, I do use that. But if you turn it off, and you can see there, we can see everything in the room. All my stuff everywhere, yes, all my games that I need to go play. So yeah. Anyway, keep that on, and now I go retouching over here. Tone smoothing and clarity are all I use, and that's mostly just to help out with the smoothness of the skin tone and everything. It's not actually doing any modifications to my face or anything weird like that, but that's what I'm using. So you can come in here and like do all the ungodly stuff like this, like slim your face down and stuff. I don't want to do all that, but yeah, let's see what we got here. Narrow my face. I can lengthen it, V-shape. Yeah, all this stuff. Let's see what I'm going to look like after we're done here. Eyes, yes. Oh god, this is going to be awful. I'm sure of it. Dark circles. Oh, that's interesting. Do I have dark circles? Let's see. I don't feel like me anymore. Oh, makeup. Let's do it. We're doing it. Dreamlike. I'm too beautiful to be alive. Oh, we got contacts as well. Let's see what we can do here. I like how we have separate settings for man. Man. But you know what? It's funny because man still has like stuff going on here anyway. What have I done? What setting did I change? And last but not least, we have a bunch of filters here. So I like pure because I like the soft look, like whatever. This is turned off and I keep it about right here. As you can see, like, there it is. Here's no filter, just straight out of the camera. It's dark because I keep it dark, but then I apply this filter called pure, which makes it a little less dark, as you can see, because it brings up the contrast and gives it kind of this, in my opinion, like a soft film look. But that's just me. All right, we're gonna go through a few more of these and just let you see them. There's nature, fresh, level, bring it up, clear. Looks all right. Crystal. Bring it all the way up, all the way down. Film. I feel like pure looks more like film than film itself, but pure also kind of gets rid of a lot of your contrast. Sheer. There we go. And that's a bit harsh. Soda. There we are. And then whenever you're using it in open broadcast or something like this, you'll tune up your image right here in the software, and then you'll click on this output button, and that'll bring up this tool thing here. It says, do you want virtual cameras? Stop them, I'm going to go away. So So you need to start the virtual cameras, and what that does is it, instead of, going into Open Broadcaster and selecting the camera, what you do here, there's Open Broadcaster, click on Obsbot, or click on your camera there, and your device needs to be the Obsbot virtual camera. So I got all those in there. You can pick them individually, but that'll just give you a raw feed. Like, it ain't gonna work because it's doing virtual camera, but yeah, it'll just give you the raw feed instead of the processed image that we've built over there in the Obsbot Center, which is what I want in the first place. All right, so let's go ahead and do an audio test of the two of these right now. In my opinion, I think a lot of people who get this, if they're going to be streaming, they'll probably be using an external mic. Because the other thing that's weird is, like, even if the mic's amazing, it's, a good distance away. All right, we're going to start off with the Obsbot Tiny SE, and that's what you're listening to right now. But remember, it's about 2.5 feet from my mouth. So that always is going to pick up some of the room tone and everything. But that's kind of the nature of having an on-camera microphone. It's not going to be as good as one that's like right here in front of your face. And plus this microphone costs a lot more than the camera cost. So that's the Tiny SE. And I'll show you, we do have some audio settings we're using over here. I've got the auto gain turned on. You can turn that off. And then we have noise reduction, medium, strong, or weak. I mean, you could try medium and just see how that sounds. It's up to you. And the radio distance is standard. We're not that close. So yeah. Has to be turned up a little bit too. Yeah, it's a little bit low as far as the levels go. Let's switch over and just try out the Meet SE. See how that sounds. I've got the auto gain turned on, noise reductions on weak, and I've got the microphone set to, just now set it to standard. It was on far, but now it's on standard. And then we can also set up, microphone status during sleep. I like to keep it off while sleeping. But if you wanted to sleep the actual camera and then use this microphone just to do whatever else, you could. It's an option. Why not? But I like to keep it off when sleeping, so there it is. I think most people are probably going to use an external mic, but you let me know in the comments if you just want to buy this and use this as like a webcam and not stream or not do anything creative or professional. You can do that and just have a fancy, nice webcam with all the features and software stuffs. And just in case you're wondering, this is what the 1x zoom looks like. I'm not zooming in at all because it is a digital zoom, and if you want to use the whole sensor, well, then zoom out. So 1x zoom here on the Tiny, and then here's 1x zoom on the Meet. I think it looks pretty good. So when I'm streaming or whatever, I would actually use 1x zoom because I'm not going to show my entire, face on the whatever. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be streaming like this and say like, okay, I want my camera to be a little bit smaller, and then I can crop by holding down the Alt button. You can crop. So I don't need to actually zoom at all. I can just use the true 1x zoom and keep it like this. And I think this looks really good when it comes to streaming. Now, while I'm making this video, I'm going to be zooming in and out and using all kinds of stuff because I'm just going crazy. But for my own purposes, for this camera, when I'm streaming, I will be using the 1x zoom. For other cameras like the full-size Tiny that I have, the full-size Tiny, what a sentence that I'm saying. Worst things have been said in this year. But yeah. For the full-size Tiny, I'll be using the zoom because that one has a bigger image sensor. But I think the 1x zoom over here in the corner looks really good, in my opinion. But that's just me. You let me know what you think. Anyway, that's been the Tiny SE and the Meet SE, the sweet spot, in my opinion. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the software and these cameras down in the comments. I'll see you there.